Hey guys, it's Dragon. Today I'll be starting a series on how to properly go about getting the most out of your aim training in order to improve at whichever game it is that you play. Now some of you have probably seen videos like this before, and you may be wondering, why should I listen to this guy? Well, firstly, I'm an official mentor for Voltaic, a community centered around educational content and self-improvement in shooters, with a focus on improving your performance in shooters through aim training with KovaaK's FPSAimTrainer, or KovaaK's for short. Within the Voltaic community, I've been given the rank of Master. So with all this alongside my 500 hours in KovaaK's, I believe I'm qualified to discuss the topics I plan to cover throughout this guide series. So one might be wondering, why KovaaK's? Why not something free, like AimLab? Well, firstly, KovaaK's has the most scenarios or training tasks out of any aim trainer out at the time of writing. It also has an excellent community infrastructure, with several resources to help you grow and improve as a player, as well as many helpful individuals to help guide you along your journey. Finally, it is very customizable and can be tweaked to suit each user's unique needs. And that brings us to the topic of today's video: how to set up KovaaK's in order to promote improvement. The first settings I'll cover are the main settings. Use the sensitivity scale for whichever game it is you play. I recommend training at a slightly higher sensitivity than you use in game, because it allows you to further refine your mouse control. I recommend training on 103 Overwatch because most scenarios were designed to be played at this FOV. It removes unnecessary visual information and also makes your sensitivity feel faster than when you play on a higher FOV, even though it remains unchanged. This helps to promote mouse control development. Enable or disable health bars based on preference. When I do choose to use them, I use a scale of 0.6 to 0.8, depending on how many targets there are and how closely these targets are grouped together. For keybinds, the only thing I recommend you change is to set reset session to either tab, spacebar, or R. This will allow you to quickly reset a run if you mess it up at the start, or if a target doesn't spawn in front of you. Don't worry about your reload bind being replaced. You won't want to intentionally reload for any of the scenarios you'll be using to improve. In the weapon settings, make sure to check hide weapon. Uncheck hitscan graphics in order to remove the visual clutter they introduce. Remove shoot sounds, shoot press sounds, and shoot release sounds. Hit sounds are all that are necessary. Also, remove hit markers so as to remove the visual clutter that they introduce. Crosshair settings are up to preference. I personally use a small, barely visible dot because it promotes smoothness. Video settings should all be turned to low to prioritize performance. I have my frame rate capped at 600 solely because I can maintain that FPS without issues. I'd recommend you cap it at whatever the refresh rate of your monitor is. The only exception to this is those who use 60Hz monitors. You should set your cap to the highest frame rate you can maintain consistently without introducing screen tearing. On to visual settings. The first thing you should do is set your decal time to 0 to get rid of the visual clutter they cause. Wall colors and floor colors are mostly preference, but typically they are contrasted to stimulate depth of field in scenarios. Your enemy color should contrast your background colors. Here are a few examples of visual settings from the top tier KovaaK's players.
And then for visuals, I make sure you set decal time to 0. Essentially what that does is it'll remove any bullet holes when you shoot. And for walls and floors, I like using pure color gray. However, sometimes I'll switch it up and I'll change it to concrete tiles and wood floors if I want it to look nicer, if I'm playing target switching or tracking and I want the game to look cool. But for static dots and scenarios like that, like Tile Frenzy, you're going to want something like pure color. It's just what works best for me. You can experiment for yourself. As for the sky color, this is what Christmas is Cancelled uses. It looks really nice. Like a very orange horizon color. It's really cool. And for the enemy colors, I'll change the head color depending on if I'm playing target switching something to pink. But for Pokeball and all those static scenarios, I have just all black so that it's just one solid color. And then if you put the roughness all the way and the full bright all the way, it'll be like just pitch black. It's a lot easier to spot on your monitor. Just make sure you click override head and override body color. For team colors, it does not matter at all.
Your sound settings are personal preference. You can turn off all UI elements that you personally find distracting. You can experiment with the positioning of specific UI elements to create placements that are optimal for you. For miscellaneous settings, there's not much to do here except to make it so you only see friends on your leaderboard, so you can compete with them. Now I'm going to show you one last thing, and that's how to import playlists, custom crosshairs, and sounds. To do so, you must navigate to your FPSAimTrainer folder. The path is as follows: Steam, steamapps, common, FPSAimTrainer, and then FPSAimTrainer. Here you will find your crosshairs folder and your sounds folder. Now, using the links I've put in the description, download the custom crosshairs and sounds that I use, and extract each set of files to their respective folders, like so. Now, to import playlists, click on the saved folder in the FPSAimTrainer folder, and then click on Save Games, then Playlists. You'll be putting playlists that I'll be putting in future videos in the series here. I've linked a playlist that I've created to help people get familiar with the kinds of tasks they'll encounter in KovaaK's. That just about wraps up the first part of this guide series. I hope this video was helpful to you in some way. This is my first guide video I've made, so I'd appreciate any constructive criticism on things I could have done better or been more clear about. Feel free to ask me any questions you may have in my Twitch chat, the comments below, or my Discord server, all of which shall be linked in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.